Hello lovely YouTube family, welcome back to Curiosity Lounge. In today's video, we are going to talk about 5 strange findings nobody will believe. Before we start, hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. 5. The Salt Cathedral, Zipaquira. In 1954, a salt mine was excavated in Cundimartha, Colombia. This salt mine is an underground space used by the Roman Catholic Church. Every item in this cathedral is made of salt, and it's about 180 meters, which are approximately 590 feet below the surface of Zipaquira. Here in town, this cathedral has a holding capacity of 100,000 people, although this cathedral has never even been filled. It welcomes only about 3,000 worshippers on Sunday, just about 3% of the cathedral's capacity. This cathedral is one of the greatest feats of Colombian architecture and a jewel of modern-day architecture. This cathedral has 14 small chapels that represent the 14 stations of the cross. The dome and the 3 names with publicity for the Salt Cathedral, many more people would visit, thereby generating revenue for the state and the locals, while this cathedral is a tourist site. Christian pilgrims can take a tour of this site to worship God in this marvelous building. 4. The Voynich Manuscript. The Voynich Manuscript is a mysterious manuscript written during the medieval period. It is a 240-page book written in an unknown language. Scholars have argued about the language used in writing this manuscript, and as we speak, this manuscript has been left untranslated. It is believed that the manuscript was discovered around the 15th century in Italy. The writings on this manuscript are weird illustrations depicting women in plants, but translators have not made meanings out of these illustrations. The closest breakthrough to the interpretation of this manuscript was in January 2018, when a group of Canadian scientists took an interest in this manuscript. The scientists announced they had decoded part of this manuscript using artificial intelligence. However, they requested that scholars help with the translation of the manuscript to give credence to the British and American codebreakers who have also taken an interest in this manuscript. But the results from their findings have remained inconclusive. There have been no accurate translation of the content of this book, and this remains a wonder. 3. Underwater lakes in an ocean. When you hear of an ocean, what readily comes to mind is a large body of water. While this is true, the ocean also has underwater lakes that are at the bottom of the ocean. Underwater lakes are known as brine pools, although they exist within the ocean. These water bodies have higher salinity than the ocean because they have different salinity levels from the ocean that houses them. They are separate from the ocean and become independent of the ocean. They have distinct waves, and submarines can float on these lakes when they are underwater. The downside of these lakes is that they contain high amounts of hydrogen sulfide and toxic methane. Thus, it is dangerous for humans to swim in them. Underwater lakes can be small or as large as several miles long. They are no different from independent lakes and rivers. We are familiar with asides from underwater lakes. The ocean floor is also home to hills, valleys, holes, and a diverse landscape. 2. Bees can live inside your eyes. Apart from a bee is the sting. This is another strange thing a bee can do to you. Your eyes can be a home to bees for as many days as you want. In 2019, a Taiwanese woman shared her gory experience with bees that lived in her eyes for days. This woman participated in the Qingming Tomb Sweeping Festival, a festival that involves cleaning the graves of dead relatives. After the festival, she felt a constant itchy feeling in her eyes and thought that dirt from the tomb might have entered her eyes. She went to an ophthalmologist to check her eyes, and there at the hospital, the ophthalmologist discovered something that looked like an insect leg inside of her eyes. He took one out, another one, and then another one, and then the final beat. In total, he brought up 4 living bees from this woman's eyes. They were feeding on the tears of this woman, who would have thought that bees will live comfortably in a human being's eyes. It is possible for a bee to feel comfortable living in your eye, but it certainly would freak you out. 1. The Pando tree colony. Elephants and whales are amongst the biggest animals on Earth, but they are certainly not the largest organisms on the face of the Earth by mass. The Pando tree colony is the largest living organism by mass. Pando is a Latin name that means spread because of how this fungus spreads on land. It is nicknamed the humongous fungus. It spreads across 2,385 acres of the Malheur National Forest in Oregon. This organism was discovered by scientists in 2017. Researchers found that this organism grew in segments as they spread across the national forests, although this organism was found recently. It had existed between 2,400 to 8,650 years ago. People who have consumed this massive fungus say it is a delicious meal. there is some sort of bad news about this organism. However, a recent study at the Utah State University revealed that the pando is diminishing in size because of the actions of humans in grazing animals. This means the fungus is an endangered species, and there is a possibility it can go into extinction. Until then, the panda is the largest organism that has lived on the face of this earth. That's all for today. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so that you never miss any amazing video from us.